ACG Metals has a vision to consolidate the critical metals industry. It was a special purpose acquisition company, and its maiden acquisition was a mine in Turkey in 2024. To talk about the progress at the mine and its overall strategy, I'm delighted to be joined by the founder and chief executive, Artem Volynets. So, Artem, looking at your share price from March, it has appreciated significantly. And I'm wondering, is that due to the progress at the mine or the strengthening of the capital structure or both?
Thank you, Sarah. It's great to be back here. The appreciation of the share price is simply the fact that people and investors started to recognize our story. We have not really marketed the story to institutionals or retail investors since we done the transaction in order to focus on getting the base case plan together, which has transformed us from special purpose acquisition company, as you mentioned, to the proper operator, ACG Metals. And in June of this year, or slightly before that, we hired Canaccord and Berenberg to be our brokers. They have published the initiation reports in the middle of June, and you can see what happens with the share price as the broader investor universe started to recognize attractiveness of the story. And appreciation of the share price is just the beginning of what we expect to see, because this is a very strong cash flow generating company. We made $90 million in free cash flow last year. We will make less gold ounces this year, but free cash flow will not be too dissimilar to what we saw last year. We are halfway through building a project which will see us producing 25,000 tons of copper equivalent from next year, and that will further increase our cash flows. So from where we are today, I personally see an upside of 3 to 5 times in terms of the share price on a base case scenario. Very simply, today we are trading at 2 times free cash flow. Comparable companies are trading at 8, and that's probably the one single metric that I am quite keen on.
Okay, so as you said, it's just the beginning, and in the beginning was that mine in Turkey. So what is the potential of the mine, and what steps are you taking to make this a reality?
So thank you. The Gediktepe mine in western Turkey currently producing gold and silver doré. Last year we done 57,000 ounces of gold equivalent. This year our guidance is 36 to 38,000 ounces. It is less than last year because we are slowly eating through the oxide cap of the deposit and getting into the sulfide part, which is the main type of the ore body at Gediktepe deposit. And in order to process that, we are building a sulfide plant, which will have a 2-stage flotation process to produce copper concentrate and zinc concentrate. That is a cost of $146 million capex. We are more than funded to complete that project. We are halfway through the construction, working on time and on budget to commission and get to the full capacity by the middle of next year in terms of production, and completion a few months before that.
Okay, but what you have no control over is the price of the commodities. And I'm just wondering, how sensitive is the company's business model to the price of, say, gold and copper?
Well, as mining operators, it is really not our business to make bets on the future commodity prices. The only thing we can control is the cost of production. We in first quartile of the global cost curve in gold, and we have managed to reduce our all-in sustaining cost by around 13% in the first half of this year versus the previous year, which is a big achievement in a highly inflationary environment in Turkey, which means our cost around $1,000 per ounce, with gold trading at $3,300 per ounce, something. That is a big margin and gives a lot of margin for the big cash flow generating. As we move into the production of copper, we also expect to be in the first quartile of the global cost curve. So any fluctuation in commodity prices will have limited dangerous impact for us. But obviously, if the prices move higher, as we at least expect in copper over the next 2 to 3 years, that will have a big positive effect on us.
But what you do have control over is who you hire, and you recently appointed Peter Carter as your Chief Operating Officer, initially to assist with the mine and assist in the more broader acquisition plans. So what is the pool of potential assets looking like?
Yeah, we're very pleased that Peter joined us. Peter is someone I worked with in the past. And this is a good example of our approach to recruitment. We do not use executive search firms. We only hire the people that we know or that we know through the people that we know. I think you've been in the industry for 30 years, like I have. It's a small sector, and sooner or later you'll know a lot of people. So Peter is a great professional. As you correctly say, he will help us to run operations at Gediktepe more efficiently, which is already happening. And we are looking at 9 to 10 targets worldwide. In M&A, they're very simple. There are two rules. Number one, you need to work on 3 to 5 to get one deal done. And number two, nothing is done until it's done. So that's the reality of doing deals in any sector, but especially in mining. So with 8 to 9, 10 active discussions, there is a probability of some of them culminating in a transaction. I cannot say at this stage which one and when, but what I certainly can say is that we are looking at producing assets or assets which have a high degree of readiness to start producing, such as a completed or near completed bankable feasibility study. And the reason for that is very simple. As I mentioned briefly, we do expect the copper prices to reach a new floor in terms of pricing as demand outstrips supply in 2 to 3 years. And we want to accumulate a base, a platform of copper producing assets. And after that, we can focus on greenfield and a longer term development. But the focus in an immediate 2 to 3 years is to build a platform with a number of producing assets in the key copper producing regions of the world.
Right. Okay, that leads me to a cheeky question, because you are looking to trade shares in the US, and I was wondering what the rationale for that was. Is it because there's a potential acquisition target in the US, or quite simply that there's a willing pool of investors there?
Well, in today's world, you need to make a decision whether you are in the east side or the west side of the global financial markets. And we are very much on the west side, and New York is a center of the Western financial markets. So, over-the-counter listing in New York that we have applied for will enable us to access a deeper pool of investors that will allow them to play in our, what we believe, a very exciting story. Not frequently come across a highly cash generative company with upside potential of 3 to 5 times on a base case scenario, and 2 or 3 times that with the next acquisition. So we certainly hope that listing over the counter market in New York will give us access to the deeper pool of investors.
Okay, so this final question is a gift. What news might shareholders hear before the end of 2025?
So if you think about our business, the current operations is essentially three bits. Number one, it's continuous production of gold and silver from oxide ore. So we shall be updating investors on our H1 financials in September, as usual. and overall progress on the production for that. Number two, we are considering what we do with so-called enriched ore or transitional ore, which is ore that is between oxide and sulfide, currently is treated as waste. And we are working to finalize a technological solution that will enable us to process this ore, which certainly will be a great benefit to all shareholders of ACG. And the third element on the base case scenario is continuous construction of the sulfide project on time and on budget. And we do update our investors on a monthly basis with our progress report. And those are the key three things that relates to the existing business. And obviously, M&A is on top of that.
Wonderful. That's an awful lot to look forward to, and I do look forward to it. Artem Volynets, Chief Executive and Founder of ACG Metals. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.